Difficult decisions were made by the organization today.
But I think right now in the best situation is what we're attempting to do here now is create the best environment moving forward.
The Browns just fired their GM, and fans think it's because he tried to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. Not for poor performance, not for front office drama, but for something way worse: deliberate sabotage. Behind closed doors, Shedeur was being boxed out. No first-team reps, no real opportunities, no fair shot. But when a leaked scrimmage clip hit the internet, everything exploded. The rookie quarterback they tried to bury, he torched the field, went viral overnight, and forced the Browns to clean house fast. So what really happened inside that camp? Why was Shedeur silenced? And what made the owners finally say enough? At first, it looked like a normal training camp rotation. Rookie QB Shedeur Sanders wasn't getting many reps. Fine, maybe they were easing him in. But as days went by, something started to feel off.
Even more Browns are coming out and supporting Shedeur Sanders, even though it seems like he's not given the reps that he deserves. Shedeur Sanders is being sabotaged.
While Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel were getting full-speed 11-on-11 drills with the first team, Shedeur was stuck doing developmental reps, the kind usually reserved for rookies the staff doesn't expect to keep. Worse, he was throwing to practice squad players, team assistants, and even defensive backs, filling in as wide receivers. Meanwhile, Pickett ran polished routes with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. Fans started asking questions. Why was a top college QB, known for precision, leadership, and mental toughness, being treated like an afterthought? Then came the media spin. Stats were floated out suggesting Shedeur had gone 3 for 8 in drills. But no one mentioned that those drills weren't full reps. They were broken plays, bad timing with third-string receivers, and no chance to build rhythm. It wasn't just mismanagement anymore. It looked personal, and whispers started to spread. Was someone inside the Browns deliberately holding Shedeur back?
Yes, we have an idea in terms of when we think they may hit the field. I have just learned by just being so wrong on that with the tackles last year.
The red flags weren't just waving, they were screaming. But what happened next made everything undeniable. It was supposed to be just another closed-door practice. No cameras, no media, no noise. But what happened that day at the Browns' Worria facility lit the fuse on a full-blown organizational meltdown. Despite being buried in the depth chart, Shedeur Sanders got a rare shot during a controlled scrimmage. And he didn't just show up, he exploded. 12 snaps, 3 touchdowns, 1 flawless 2-minute drill that ended in a walk-off score. Insiders say Shedeur carved up the defense with surgical precision, including a 27-yard laser to Harrison Bryant down the seam, and a sideline strike to Amari Cooper that made assistant coaches stop and whisper, "This kid's the real deal." The kicker? Kenny Pickett, the one who'd been gifted all the first-team work, fell apart during the same scrimmage.
Shedeur is so well, technique-wise, from his lower body.
He threw a brutal red zone interception that had VIP observers shaking their heads. This wasn't just a good day for Shedeur. This was the day that exposed everything. And while the coaching staff tried to keep it quiet, someone recorded the final touchdown. What happened in that 23-second clip would flip the Browns' entire quarterback room upside down. At 2:13 a.m. Eastern Time, a 23-second clip hit the internet. No watermark, no official tags. Just raw footage of Shedeur Sanders dropping back, reading the defense, and firing a perfect touchdown pass to Cedric Tillman. By noon, the video had crossed 1.2 million views. NFL Twitter, on fire. #FreeShedeur was trending in Cleveland, then nationally within hours. Fans were furious, not just because the throw was elite, but because it proved what everyone had feared. Shedeur was being hidden.
Shedeur Sanders has picked up the offense well. He's working at it well. He's doing a lot of great things to ensure that more positive things happen.
The Browns hadn't released a single highlight from that scrimmage. No mention in the practice reports. Not even a hint that Shedeur had outshined everyone on the field. And now, the proof was undeniable. People were asking, why wasn't this kid competing for QB1? What else were they hiding? Inside the facility, things spiraled fast. Coaches were scrambling. PR was on lockdown. The video, reportedly filmed by a staffer, had blown the lid off a quarterback controversy they tried to keep buried. And once that clip was out, the cover-up couldn't continue, because the next leak was even more damning. The clip was bad enough, but then came the receipts. A leaked text thread, allegedly between GM Andrew Berry and a Browns staffer, surfaced online. And the messages? They weren't vague. They were calculated. The text hinted at one thing: suppressing Shedeur's visibility. No first-team media clips, no mic'd-up sessions, no viral highlights.
He ain't got no time, dog. Like, look at this. He feels like he's in Colorado again.
Whether the texts were 100% legit or not didn't even matter. The damage was already done. Public trust shattered. Fans didn't see a team developing a rookie QB. They saw a cover-up in plain sight. And just when it couldn't get worse, a fictionalized Forbes-style bombshell dropped. Reports claimed that a frustrated minority owner had leaked internal emails. The emails? They exposed Berry's alleged directive: limit Shedeur's momentum. No high-pressure drills. No red zone sequences. No chance to outshine the vets. Even if just half of it was true, it painted a brutal picture of a front office trying to control not just reps, but the entire narrative. This wasn't mismanagement. This was manipulation. And the question now wasn't if Berry was going to be fired. It was how soon. While fans were connecting dots, the media tried to spin a different story.
They're all wired the right way. They know to keep the main thing the main thing.
Headlines downplayed Shedeur's performance. Sanders goes 3 for 8 in team drills, struggles with timing. But what they didn't tell you? Those stats came from broken reps, not full team sequences, and not with real receivers. There was no context. No mention that Shedeur was throwing to backup assistants, or that he wasn't even allowed to call live protections. Meanwhile, Kenny Pickett's poor performance magically vanished from reports. Then came the leak that changed everything again. Internal practice grade sheets. Shedeur had logged a +4 EPA, expected points added, in camp sessions. Pickett, a dismal -6 EPA. One was leading efficient drives, the other ending them with turnovers. According to insiders, these numbers were deliberately hidden from public camp reports. Sources claim Berry even fed hand-picked stats to friendly reporters, painting Shedeur as inconsistent, while sweeping Pickett's interceptions under the rug.
I think that going from 3 and 8 to getting no real reps other than those other reps, I'm not sure why those aren't counted. I guess they're on 11 on 11. They're not 7 on 7s, right? Again, back to JJ Watt. Y'all know, we don't know what we're looking at.
It wasn't just biased reporting. It was information warfare. And that's why the story wasn't fading. It was gaining momentum, because now it looked like the Browns weren't just misjudging talent. They were orchestrating a takedown. By this point, it was obvious something wasn't right. But when insiders revealed just how far the sabotage went, it became undeniable. On July 20th and 21st, Shedeur Sanders received 0 first-team reps. Not one 11-on-11 snap. Not a single rep with the starting offensive line. Instead, he was shoved into developmental periods, usually meant for rookies being evaluated for practice squad roles. While Pickett and Dillon Gabriel got clean pockets, timing routes, and full sequences, Shedeur was throwing to backup assistants and fringe defenders acting as wideouts.
He's tired of answering questions about the quarterback competition, and that might be the reason why, hey, let's not give Shedeur any reps. Or were they trying to prove a point to Shedeur Sanders?
One fan-captured clip from July 22nd showed Sanders completing a pass to a defensive back subbing in at receiver, while Pickett ran the exact same play with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore. It wasn't development, it was exile. Then came the depth chart freeze. Leaked internal logs showed Shedeur was locked at QB4, restricted installation, a status that barred him from calling protections or participating in 2-minute drills. He wasn't just being benched. He was systematically removed from the competition. Former Browns scout Marcus Willoughby said it best. This wasn't about skill. This was fear. They knew if he had a real shot, the media darling would get exposed. The Browns front office thought they could contain it, bury the footage, control the media, spin the narrative. But once that viral clip took off, the owners got involved.
Head coach, former Alabama coach, is trying to come to the big leagues again, bro. There has been a lot of teams.
Head coach Kevin Stefanski had already voiced frustration behind closed doors. According to reports, he told team owner Jimmy Haslam as early as July 21st that the reps weren't being distributed fairly. He wanted the quarterback decision made sooner, not dragged out behind politics. But when that 23-second touchdown clip surfaced, there was no going back. Inside the facility, pressure hit a boiling point. Players started speaking up, saying Shedeur had clearly outperformed Pickett. Fan backlash was intensifying by the hour. And then came the breaking point, an emergency vote. According to team insiders, ownership held a closed-door meeting late on July 25th. The result? A 4-1 vote to fire GM Andrew Berry immediately. No warning, no damage control. He was reportedly told to pack his office before day 4 of camp even started. The message was clear. Favoritism is finished.
I think the main difference in that year is we were at 3. So I think I've said multiple times on the record that as long as we have 3 quarterbacks that we think are 53-man worthy, we'd like to keep.
For the first time in weeks, the future looked wide open again. But the scars from the sabotage were far from healed. At first, it looked like paranoia. Fans were called delusional. Reporters brushed it off. But now, the sabotage is undeniable. The Browns didn't just underestimate Shedeur Sanders. They tried to bury him. No reps, no exposure, no chance. All while hyping up a struggling veteran quarterback who was throwing picks in red zone drills. And when Shedeur finally got a sliver of opportunity, he lit up the field, embarrassed the depth chart, and forced the organization to confront the ugly truth. They were protecting the wrong guy. From leaked texts, fake stat narratives, and twisted depth charts, it's clear this wasn't just bad coaching.
The people that were there clearly saw that the 11-on-11s and the actual team reps were not giving at all to Shedeur, or not given to Shedeur at all.
It was a controlled narrative gone wrong, and in the end, it cost a GM his job. But here's the bigger question. How many other young players are being silenced behind the scenes? How many Shedeur Sanders stories are buried before fans ever see the field? Because while this chapter might end with a GM being fired, the real story is just beginning. And now that Shedeur has broken free from the chains, the NFL might be about to witness something they were never prepared for.